What's up guys, and welcome back to a new video where we'll be diving into metrics in Nova. Quick pause. Do you want to support the channel and want me to continue on creating content? Well, you can support the channel on Patreon right now, where you get benefits such as a private Discord group where you can share your coding issues and other developers will help you out. If you are interested to join, the link can be found in the description down below. When it comes to admin panels, you do always want to show some kind of statistics related to your project to the user. Users gain insight of business indicators of your application. Let's say that you would like to see how many products the user has added per day or week into your application. Now Nova allows you to define different types of metrics. We've got value, trends, partitions, and progress. The most common one is the value metrics, which displays a single value that could also be changed to a previous time interval. So let's say that we want to add a new metric right on our resource overview right here, where we could see how many products have been added every day, week, and month. Now metrics needs to be created through the CLI, where we need to perform the PHP partition Nova command, and we're not going to add metric right here since there are different types of metrics. So what we could do right here is add a value. Then we need to name it, so let's name it new products. If we hit enter, you'll see that metrics will be stored inside the app directory, Nova, a new subdirectory called metrics, where a class called new products has been created successfully. If we navigate to PHP Storm and open it, right here, you'll see our new class called new products, where you will find some key features right here. The first one is the calculate method right here, which returns a magic value result instance. Now metrics will basically calculate something for you, right? By default, the count helper has been added right here, which will perform a count query on a specific model. You have the option to replace the count helper right here with the average method. You could replace it with the sum method, the max method, and the min method. All these should make sense. So I won't cover them. So let's go back to count. By default, you'll see that Nova adds the model class right here, which basically tells us that we need to replace it with the model we want to calculate our products on. Well, in our case, it will be the product model. So not the Nova resource class, but the actual model. Then we have the range method right at the bottom, which defines the ranges available for metrics. As you can see right here, it has a couple default ones. We have 30 days, 60 days, 365 days, so basically a year. You can have the statistics of today, the month to date, the quarter to date, and the year to date. Nova allows you to add a couple more right here. So let's just add them for demonstration purposes, right under today. Let's say that we want to define a new value named yesterday, and the value is double underscore with a key of yesterday. Right under year to date, we're going to add all, which will basically show all time. So basically all the products that have been created. Now keep in mind that you can change up the values right here, because Nova uses built-in functionalities for today, yesterday, months, quarters, and years. Now the last method inside our new products class is the cache for method. And since we're going to add a metric, you don't want to update the data every time a user refreshes the browser, but you rather want to use some kind of cache, which will cache it after a couple minutes. Now that can be done right here. I won't be doing anything with it because I don't want to wait 5 minutes whenever I make changes. Now just like using filters, we need to make sure that we register our metric, which needs to be done right inside of the product resource class. If we scroll up, you'll find a cards method inside of every resource class, which is returning an array. So let's pull in our new products metrics. If we navigate back to the browser, refresh it, you'll see that we added a new metric right above our products overview, which is showing us that we got 2 products defined in the last 30 days. If we change it up to, let's say, today, you'll see that we have no data because no product has been added today, even though the video is recorded right after it. Now let's make it a little bit more complex, where we are going to create new metrics which will show the average product price. Let's navigate back to the CLI, and let's define a new metric by saying PHP partition Nova value, and let's name it average price. Alright, let's open it. And let's start off with the count method. Right here, we're going to replace the model with our product model. We're going to replace the count method with the average method because we're going to calculate the average price. And right now it's throwing an error message because one required parameter is missing, which is the column, which we need to add right after the model. So we're basically going to say, well, calculate the average on the price column inside our products table. Now keep in mind that there are some additional methods that you could chain right here on your average method. So let me show them to you. The first one is the currency method, where you could basically pass in a currency. So I'm working with the currency of euro, so let's add it right here as a symbol. But if you use dollars, you could basically add that as well. But for now, I'm going to use euros. And then you could also add a suffix method right to it, which basically adds a string behind the amount. So let's say per unit. Now let's navigate to a product resource class because we obviously need to register it. So let's say new average price. If we navigate to the browser right now, refresh it, you'll see a new metric right here where the average price for the last 30 days of our products is 1.22k. Now let's dive into the third metric type, which is the trends metric type. And a trend will basically display values through a line chart. So let's say that we want to see how many products a user has created over time. So let's navigate back to iTerm. And let's say PHP Artisan Nova. We're going to create a trend called products per day. Now trends will also be stored inside the metrics directory where you'll find our products per day class. Except there are way more methods you could perform on a calculate method right here. So let me show that to you. Let's navigate back to Google Chrome and let's open the Nova documentation. And let's go inside the sidebar to metrics. So defining metrics. And let's search for trends. Right here, somewhere at the bottom, you'll see that you're basically able to count by months, weeks, days, hours, and minutes, but the same can be performed for the average, sum, max, and minimum. So what we're going to do is basically calculate it by days as it is, and we're going to calculate it on the product model. You could also change the ranges right here. Right now it is calculated in 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days, which is fine as well. So let's make sure that we register our metric. New products per day. Navigate back to Google Chrome. Open our local host. Refresh it. And right here, you'll see that we have an average products per day of 0. But you'll see that on the 31st right here, we have created 2 new products. If we look at 60 days, you'll see that we have more zeros again. Now keep in mind that the methods we define for our value metrics are also chainable on the trend metrics. So I won't cover them right now. Now there are 2 other metric types, which are partition metrics and progress metrics, which I won't cover because in the next video, I'm going to work on a dashboard where I'm also going to add metrics. If you already want to look into them, I recommend you to look into the official documentation of Nova, which I will link in the description down below. Now this was it for this episode where we dived into metrics in Laravel Nova. In the next video, we're going to have a look at dashboards. If you do like my content and you want to see more, leave this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button.